everyone, welcome back to Jamie's Bookshelf. Today we're going to go over all of my 5-star Agatha Christies. So to preface this, I also want to clarify that 1, I have not read all of Agatha Christie's work, and 2, I don't know how many of Agatha Christie's works I have left. I probably should have checked that, but to be honest, I didn't want to count all of those books. I have been working steadily through her novels, and I have been rereading some regularly, but at the same time, I have been working steadily through her novels, like new novels to me. So I have 16 5-star Christies, and I wanted to go through each of them with you. They are in no particular order. However, I do have them in stacks by editions because that's typically how I buy them. So let's just get into the first stack. On the top of the pile is one that is very predictable if you know my channel at all, and that is And Then There Were None. It's probably my favorite Agatha Christie book of all time, to be honest. It's in the top 10 of my favorite books ever, so there we go. But yes, And Then There Were None is definitely a 5-star. If I could give more stars on my 5-star rating scale, it'd be like a 6 or 7 book star out of 5. Anyways, another one that is not new to anybody, or shouldn't be new to anybody, is Murder on the Orient Express. I've read it so many times. I thoroughly love this story, and it can do no wrong. Unless people adapt it and do wrong by it. One that not many people know about, but is also Hercule Poirot, is Death in the Clouds. This one is where he's on a plane and someone dies in the plane, and he is knows everyone who's in the plane, and then he's trying to figure out who it is after the plane lands, who's the murderer. It's been a while since I've read it, but it was really fun to have him trying to solve the murder after the fact. And I remember still who did it, so I'm really interested to read this eventually. I should have reread it this year for Read Christie 2021, but I didn't. So anyways, this is a 5-star from me. Another one on this stack, which I really loved all the twists and turns in this one, and I love the detective in this one, is The Seven Dial Mystery, which is featuring Superintendent Battle. This one is the second book, and this one follows The Secret of Chimneys, where many of the characters are reoccurring. So if you are wanting to be spoiled for characters who didn't do it in The Secret of Chimneys, don't read this book first. However, I really love the characters. I love the mystery in this one, and I love how everything comes together in the end. The first Christie I ever figured out, and if you've been watching my Christie content over the last couple days, or last week or so, you'll know which one this one is, but this one got a 5-star, and that's Crooked House. This one is a lot more dark than some of Christie's other books, but it got a 5-star. It was masterfully woven together, and I figured it out because of just opportunity, I'll say, and I really enjoyed this one, even though it is very dark for some of her other books, but really enjoyable. Then I also read Endless Night, which I looked up trying to figure out what was going on, and I spoiled myself. However, thoroughly enjoyed how different this one was compared to most of her other works, and I love a different Christie, so there we go. One book that I have reread a couple times, and I think I'll reread many times in the future, is Death on the Nile. I think this one has such a great quality of mystery, a great time with the characters, and I love how much time you get to spend with the victim before they die. It's about a third of the book, and I think that is ingenious because you really get to know all the personalities before anything really happens, and that really adds suspense, and it really makes things really develop. The last one I have in my hand at the moment is Lord Edgar Dies, which I read last year, loved so much, but it's almost been 2 years now, and I really need to reread it, and I did give it 5 stars because it blew me out of the water with how it was done, and I am so excited to reread it one day in the future because it was just so good, and I love books that just stick with you after so long, and this one, at least by Christie, did that for me. The last two I have in those editions are Sleeping Murder. This is the last Miss Marple case, and I loved how this one is a murder that Miss Marple isn't really in, but she is helping a couple trying to solve it, like this mystery that they just bought this house, and they're trying to figure out what's going on with this house because the wife is remembering a lot of details that shouldn't be there, but they are. That's a confusing way to say it, but it's basically a murder that happened many years ago. So Miss Marple is trying to help them figure it out, and it's very, very good. Also, I have another Miss Marple, which is The Murder at the Vicarage. The first and last Miss Marple got 5 stars from me. I still have to read more Miss Marple though, so they're not the only Miss Marples that have 5 stars. But Murder at the Vicarage also got a 5 stars. Miss Marple is genius. Cards on the Table also has 5 stars. I love how it has only 4 potential suspects, 4 detectives trying to solve it, and you really get to see all of the potential evidence. I really love how that all works out. But because you only know it has 4 people, it really is such a closed circuit mystery. And it just plays out over a game of bridge, essentially. I just love how that all is just so connected. And it's really, really clever. The Murder of Roger Akroyd is also a 5 star. This one is, it plays with your mind as a reader, as a potential detective, as an armchair detective. And I love how Agatha Christie really can work with your brain in that regard. I love how this one really can play with the way that you put together a detective mystery, but also the way that you look at Poirot's detective skills. I think it's really genius. The most recent 5-star book that I have is a very new one. It's been, I finished like 3 days ago, but it's so, so good. Is The Sitterford Mystery. This one was just amazing. I thought it was such a great wintry read. It happens in the winter. It happens with like a seance-like game, and it happens where they're trying to figure out who done it. It's an independent novel, but it is about the police and an amateur detective kind of working together, but kind of not. And all the different clues that you see because you're looking at the detective's information as well as the amateur detective's information. So I like the well-rounded aspect of this mystery along with all the people that you're meeting. And I love that I was on the trail with some pieces, but also not on the other pieces. And I thought this one was so brilliant and I really loved it. The last 3 are Sad Cypress. This one is about a courtroom drama essentially where Poirot's being asked to basically exonerate this defendant from her guilt. And he says, I won't exonerate her, but I will prove if she is guilty or not. And that's all they really want. And so he is going into this crime that isn't exactly a cold case, but it isn't a fresh scene. And so he's trying to figure out if she actually is the guilty party or not. It is a very interesting one where I love that it's not a fresh crime scene, but at the same time, he's working with this evidence that isn't new to him, but also that is kind of there still. I really liked this one. And I love the courtroom element. I also have here the ABC Murders. I rated this one 5-star one from a radio drama, and then reading it again, I enjoyed this one. I do have a few complaints now about it, but I think this one overall is still a 5-star. I think this one is really clever in the way that Hercule Poirot is baited into following a serial killer around and trying to catch them first. So yes, really enjoyable. And it's also enjoyable on the reread as you are trying to see the clues that are cropping up essentially. And the last 5-star book that I have here is The Body in the Library. I love how this twist is. It's so short. It's a Miss Marple. And I love that the elements that are in play here. It's just such a great one to see. And it's just so much fun to see Miss Marple and her friends interact over these cases. I think that they are all such a genius way to do it. So these are all of my 5-star Christies. Please let me know down below what are some of your favorite 5-star Christies or some of your favorite Christies in general if you have read much Christie. I would love to chat down below about Christies, or if you are going to start reading Christies, what do you have? I also have a where to start in Christie if you would like to know where I'd recommend starting. But these are my favorite 5 stars. These are my 5 stars. They're not just my favorites. They are all my 5-star Christies that I've read. So please like this video if you liked it, and then subscribe if you are new here. And I'll see you next time. Bye for now.